Good evening, and welcome to our special horror event, Thalassophobia, here on the Guard Tower Presents. Normally, we run our weekly live play fantasy adventure, but we're going to put that campaign on hold for this week, and hopefully for next week, depending on if our players survive long enough. We're going to do a bit of a spooky show tonight. As always, though, we do new episodes every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and then we post those to YouTube on Fridays. If you'd like to find out more about us, visit us on our Linktree page. There you can find links over to the Guard Tower's YouTube channel, as well as their Twitch. You can also find our Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, but most importantly, our Discord. And the nice thing about Discord is you can actually reach out and talk to the cast and crew of the show, which is really nice. We'd like to hear from you on that. If you like what we're doing, a follow on Twitch would be fantastic, and a like and subscribe on YouTube would certainly help us out as well. If you've already done that, we certainly appreciate it. It's a little thing for you, but something quite important to us, helps us grow and get out there to show what we've got to more people. Tonight, we are going to be featuring minis from Chris Wolfgang over at Glittering Cave Studios. And Tony Thefferson has provided some yucky little treats for our party. And we have a very special map by our friend Chris Fields. A couple of tricks up his sleeve for that. So that should be quite fun to get onto that this evening. And I'm also very pleased to let you know that tonight we have special music by Carl Casey, and he's an amazing retro synth artist. Been following him for quite some time and was really excited that he said he would let us use his music on the show. And that is Carl with a K and Casey with a C on that. And you can visit him over at Bandcamp at carlcasey.bandcamp.com, over at whitebataudio.com, which is whitebataudio.com, and check out his stuff today. And I do think it's quite obvious that those of us here on the show certainly love doing our role-playing games. But we also have strategy gamers, card gamers, board gamers, mini painters, and a bunch of other nerdy little interests that we like to do here on the show. And when we get a hankering for some more dice or pick up some more paints, we like going over to the Guard Tower to find all that. You can visit them at their east location, which is in Reynoldsburg, right there by Main Street and 270. And the new west location is going to be opening up here, I believe, after the holiday season. Am I correct on that, James?
They said they're going to open after the first of the year so that people don't have to search for them to purchase their Christmas gifts.
Very true, very true. And it's going to be quite amazing. That's actually here where the studio is all set up. So come and visit us at the west location. And, you know, if you can't get over to either one of those, you can always go visit theguardtower.com and check out their wares online. You can also find access to all the different player communities there. So you can find people that share your interest on that. So again, that is theguardtower.com. I believe that wraps up most of the announcements and stuff that I've got for this evening. James, was there anything that I missed?
This
yeah.
big honking book.
Oh, wow.
Tonight we are going to be using, if you can see it very well, the Everyday Heroes System by Evil Genius Games.
Absolutely. And they're going to be our sponsor this evening. So we're going to be using some modified house rules on their gaming system tonight. It is a 5e modernization. So for those of you that are familiar with the 5e system, it is a really nice transition. It allows you to step into a world with computers, cars that your players want to drive into the middle of the ocean, and all kinds of other fun things on there for you on that. So yeah, definitely take a peek at Everyday Heroes. We've enjoyed playing around with it, and that's actually what we're going to be using for our show tonight. And I think speaking of our show, let's go ahead and meet our cast. As you can see, there are a couple different faces this evening. We'll start on this end over here. Go ahead and start with your name and who are you playing tonight?
Hi, everybody. It's me, Adam Rudolph. I will be playing the role of Dr. Richard Kane. I'm Percy, but you can also call me Leon S. Kennedy tonight. That's fine. And I will be playing Clark Isaac.
I am Charles Yeager, but everyone calls me CJ. And today I am going to be playing Jason Blake.
I'm Audrey Lowe, and today I will be playing Helga Smalls, and don't call me Helga. You may refer to me as Smalls.
I am James Lowe. I'm usually on the other side of the studio. Tonight I will actually be playing Gibbs.
Great. I'm Chelsea, and I'll be playing Professor Delilah Tullio tonight.
And I'm Dylan Williams. I'll be playing Trent Michaels tonight.
Excellent, excellent. Now that you've met the cast of our players, we'll go over a couple of rules. Again, this is going to be a special horror event that we're doing, so Given that it is, say, survival horror experience, our players can be killed off at any point in time during the adventure. There's no guarantee that any of them are going to make it to the end. So hopefully they will survive long enough to make it to our November 5th show. We'll see what happens with that. But obviously, since this, again, is a horror episode, it is going to contain some horror elements. So if you're a bit squeamish or you don't care for the 80s style monster movies, don't say that you have not been warned. But for those of you that wish to continue, let's go ahead and begin tonight's journey down into the cold, unforgiving depths of Thalassophobia. Location:
Here we go.
along the Pacific edge of the Kuril Islands, east of the Salt Strait. It is October 29th, 2037, local time 3:37 p.m. The Boeing Sikorsky SB-1 Defiant rockets over the rolling whitecaps of the ocean at nearly 230 knots. Even the advanced avionics and the AI-assisted flight systems cannot completely eliminate the turbulence and winds created by the massive storm system that they're traveling through. Originally designed as a replacement for the CH-1 Blackhawk, the Defiant has been outfitted for more civilian luxuries. And even though it is only carrying 10 passengers, the weather has ensured that the ride has been anything but comfortable. In the cockpit, the pilot and co-pilot are professional and ice cold as they do their best to deal with the storm. However, the aircraft still have to deal with vicious jolts, and it is buffeted and tossed around by the raw power of nature. The crew chief, a short, solidly built man of his mid-50s with a broad smile and easygoing demeanor, stands in the narrow hallway, leaning in and speaking to the pilot in a private conversation. He nods, closes the small door that divides the cockpit from the passenger area, and begins to steady himself as he moves down the narrow hallway. Once again, the aircraft drops violently, causing the pits of your stomach to do somersaults as it once again picks way back up and steadies itself. You all boarded the futuristic twin-rotor helicopter way back in Tokyo, Japan. Feels like a lifetime ago. You were hurriedly rushed to the airport with no time for any real instructions, and the weather turned sour shortly after takeoff and has only continued to get worse the further you have traveled. This places nobody in much of a talkative mood, except for maybe the crew chief, who again has been enjoying watching you all deal with the motion sickness created by the rolling and pitching of the aircraft. You've spent most of the flight trying to size up those around you, judging who they are by the gear and their attire. You can tell only pretty much what one person is in the crew here. It is the regional field representative from OEIC, the Oceanic Exploration and Investment Corporation, Koji Takahashi, and he has been on his phone or his laptop, sometimes even both, for the duration of the flight thus far. The tone of his voice, ranging from very heated to very apologetic, and you guess that has a lot to do with who might be on the other end of the phone. And so far he has switched languages at least 3 times. While he was very pleasant while he was at the airport with you, obviously whatever has caused you to be drug out here to the middle of the Pacific is beyond serious at this point. The others in the group, as you look about, seem to be a mixture of maybe former or active military, and the rest are possibly specialists of some nature. They give off vibes of maybe scientists or engineers of some kind. We're on final approach for touchdown. The crew chief's voice carries across the cramped cabin interior. You can feel the Defiant slowing down, begins a wide circular arc around a collection of vessels that are riding the choppy ocean below. Given the lack of perspective, the vastness of the Pacific makes these boats seem tiny by comparison as they bob and roll on the waves. Crew chief leans over to you, Clark. Pointing down, he's like, man, that is no joke out there. Even the Ishii's getting tossed about. At this point, see Takahashi closes his laptop and looks over. He's like, yeah, it's the pride of our fleet out there. That's the Ishimuro. It's OIC's, rather, it is the world's largest oceanic research vessel. We constructed that over 376,000 tons with a 171-meter beam on it. It is state-of-the-art in all ways, shape, or form on that. We built that over in the Hyundai Heavy Industry Yards over in Asan. She's absolutely beautiful, one of a kind. You can see that he is just beaming with radiance at this point. Apparently the pride of his company's fleet. Pilots bring the helicopter about, and it touches down on the deck of the Ishii. You can see that it's rolling for it as it sets down a couple times, bouncing with the boat before it finally makes that solid contact. Immediately, the crew chief pulls back the door, telling you all to duck as you step out, and he begins unloading the equipment that you all have brought. One by one, you all fall out of the helicopter, keeping low with the blades and moving across the deck of the Ishimaro. It is everything you can do to hang onto the ropes as this giant vessel rises up and down as the waves batter against it there. The wind is driving against you. The rain is just soaking you at this point, and one of the crew from the ship begins ushering you into the vessel itself. As you're taken into the boat, you're almost knowingly steered away from any of the crew. Nobody seems to really be talking to you, and you're moved down to a briefing room very, very quickly. As you all step in, you can see there's several seats in here for you. Sitting at a table is a business executive-looking individual, an older gentleman. You're guessing this guy is somewhere in his mid-50s. And next to him is a very solid-looking gentleman of definitely military origin based on his crew cut and the uniform that he is wearing. It says ISS on it. And for those of you that are familiar with that, you know that has to do with a mercenary company that OEC employs, which you can also see on several other members' uniforms in here as well. So, at this point, you all come sit into your seats. You can see where Takahashi is kind of ushering you to sit in various locations. Goes up and he has a small exchange with a business at the front desk there. And as he does so, he goes and sits down next to him, begins plugging his laptop and keying some stuff up. Behind him, on a very large display monitor, is a picture of the Kuril Kamchatka Trench. You can see it running along the edge of Kamchatka. Japan is located to the west, and as it goes up, you can see where it connects over to Alaska, running along the Pacific Ring of Fire there. There are some displays that begin bringing up some information on there. You can see that the depth of the trench where you are is approximately 31,500 feet in depth, and there's a dot on there that is marked SDOP. As Takahashi nods to the gentleman at the desk there, he stands up, looks to you all. Thank you very much for coming. I understand that flight was less than comfortable, and we certainly do appreciate that. We will all be very much compensated for the short notice of bringing you over here. We have a dire situation, and part of our company protocol is for specialists like yourselves to be brought in to assess the situation. My name is John Smith, and I am the Vice President of Regional Operations here in the Pacific for OEIC. And if you all are thirsty or need anything while we're doing this briefing here, please just let us know. We'll make sure we take care of you on that. Unfortunately, time is of the essence for us. So I guess we should begin on that. Do you need anything before we go in?
Take coffee.
Coffee. No, it's over. You can see a steward begins giving you coffee.
You got any salt?
How much salt?
Just a shake.
Gives a bit of shake the coffee and brings it over to you. Black, it's bitter. It's very Navy style coffee on that.
Add some salt too, please.
It hands you the salt container as well. And Stuart kind of steps back over. Nobody else seems to see anything else. The rest of you can feel the pitch and the roll of the boat still at this point. And again, as this drops way down, those of you that have a maybe Navy background, this is something that you've been familiar with in some of the nastiest storms. Those of you that are not very Navy oriented, this is definitely causing some motion sickness action going on. You can kind of feel your body as each pitch and roll on that. So, all right. Anything else that you all need at this moment in time? Very good. Again, OEIC is currently in a very precarious situation. 22 hours ago, the Ishimaro, we lost contact with the Sebastopol Deep Operations Platform. And again, as per our company protocols that we have established here, we tried everything we possibly could to raise them from below, and we are currently unable to do so. The Sebastopol is not like any other deep platform that you all are familiar with on this. It is a massive underwater facility that is able to function down at the deepest depths. We're hoping that is the first of a whole new generation of such platforms that is designed to be reconfigured and moved to the various resource-rich areas that we're looking to explore. Typically, there is a tether that attaches between the Sebastopol and the Ishimaro. As the storm system was moving in, we separated the tether as normal. Unlike a lot of other stations, the tether would have been separated at the base. With this depth, we can't do so. It was separated at about the 5,000 meter mark. The rest of it was retrieved back up into the Ishimaro. Typically, we rely on ELF communications at that point because radio does not transmit that far to water. We have not been able to raise them since, and I know with a lot of platforms, should bad weather roll in, you typically will evacuate the crew. That's not how Sevastopol is designed. It is designed to weather out the storms because it is very difficult to raise them 5 miles to the surface of the ocean. So again, they're designed to weather down there. We have not been able to raise them. We do not know what is going on, and that is why we have brought you in here to help us evaluate the situation. Some information about Sevastopol. It is equipped with an ANI. That is a neural network system, and very similar to what an AI is. It runs most of the operations centers. Even if something was to happen to the entire crew, the ANI should be performing backup communications, and we've got nothing going on. We are quite worried at this particular point in time. So we're looking to put together a crew to get down there and find out what has happened. We have picked up no escape pods at this point in time, even though they might have broken apart because of how bad the weather is. At least the monitor buoys on them would have let us know they had surfaced. So again, whatever has happened down there, there have been no life buoys that have been able to reach the surface that we are aware of. This seems to be possibly a catastrophic failure of the platform, and given the depth, the range of debris, it will be relatively isolated to the area there, so it shouldn't be that terrible as far as finding that, but we're hoping that the crew, that nothing has happened. There are approximately 54 crew members aboard the Sevastopol, and again, it is the largest underwater platform that has ever been built. He brings up a picture of it, and you can see at this point that Sevastopol is actually massive. It appears to be a relatively donut-shaped center section with a crew quarters living space in the center, and around that exterior donut shape is the agroponics with connecting arms coming off of it that seem to branch out to the various possible pods that could be added onto the side. You can see that there is a reactor. You can see there is a biolab, a geolab on this thing. Looks like there's a sub-bay, command operations center, that sort of thing. And again, judging by the size of this, it is most impressive. None of you have ever been on a underwater platform quite as large as that before. Yes, so given the situation here, there at any point in time we have 3 subs on location. We have the McMurdo, we have the Campbell, and we have the Bennings. The Campbell is still up here with us, but neither the McMurdo nor the Bennings have surfaced. And that also concerns us as well, because again, either one of those 2 subs should have been able to make it up here to the surface, even with the weather as bad as it is. There's, aside from the Campbell, there is no other subs anywhere in the area that are able to withstand this depth. Our contacts in China do have a sub, but it is currently unable to be brought out to where we are. We do believe it'll be another 36 hours before that submarine is available. So all we have currently is the Campbell. But unfortunately, the Campbell is a cargo sub. It is not designed for transport of passengers. So our engineers have been converting a cargo container to make the journey down to the Sevastopol station. I do believe that you will find the fittings, while not exactly the most comfortable ride down, they will be safe, and we do believe they can ensure your security to reach the bottom to see what has happened to Sevastopol. At this point, I do believe that I should probably turn it over to you to ask some questions that you might have with this. I believe I'll turn this over to Takahashi to field the questions. And he sits back down, and Takahashi stands up and gives a little bit of a bow to him. And, what questions do you think you may have?
He's about to send us down 5 miles in a cargo container?
I will be going down there with you, but yes, Mr. Captain Gibson.
Hey, Gibbs, it's bad luck underway. Don't... Gibbs would be fine.
Yes, Gibbs. I will
What
be going down there.
exactly... Like, these subs ain't come back?
We have had no contact, and nothing has come up. Again, the escape pods and neither of the two submarines down there have returned.
Why do they need to escape in the middle of a thunderstorm?
Again, we have no idea what has happened down there. There has been no communication at all. Again, from the ANI system, not from any of the individuals on the platform. We would assume if there was some issue that they would encountered, again, they would seek to get to the surface and get away from the platform itself. We don't know what has happened, which is why we need to get a crew down there as fast as possible to assess the situation, given that at the depths you're looking at, the pressure down there is over 8 tons per square foot. It will crush you faster than you can even imagine. A catastrophic failure is something that we're most concerned about at this point in time. And if something has happened and the system has not failed, it could be very much a matter of life and death. If power is not functioning within Sevastopol at 35 degrees ambient temperature down there, it would bring the entire station into an area to create hypothermia in a very short amount of time.
And when was the last time we made contact?
22 hours ago.
We ain't got no time to waste, then, it seems.
Yes, sir.
Forgive me for speaking up, but I can't help but notice we have quite a diversity among skill sets here. It sounds like this is an engineering problem, and perhaps medical aid if needed. What is it that you're really expecting?
Sebastopol handles a variety of various scientific and research endeavors as well. We do have an active mining facility down there. It is an automated mining facility that mostly handles itself. But we also have a full geo and bio lab to harness any of the possible benefits of new species we might encounter. There is no telling what we have run into, which is why we have a spectrum of specialists to help us with this matter. Is that it, Dr. Kane?
That is all from me.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. And your reputation does precede you, Doctor. We're very, very happy to have you here with us.
Gibbs is gonna just pick up his bag, start walking towards the submersible.
So you're gonna just gotta walk towards the door. Doc Ashley's like, I do believe that you will probably have a very difficult time finding your way around the ship. If there are no further questions, we can all proceed. Is there any equipment? Actually, I do believe, tell you what, I believe I will turn this over to Mr. Parker to address the ISS representatives here.
All right, Takahashi, there's some, you said there's some sort of AI. Mr. Smith said there's an AI.
Yes, sir. It's an Annie.
Nanny.
Annie. ANNI. It's an artificial neural network intelligence, sir.
Okay. And it's not communicating at all?
And it is, we've had no response from it. Again, it is designed to help run the facility, and especially in events of emergency, to take over most of the facility operations, to allow the personnel to escape or to ensure communication should there be a catastrophic failure of the facilities.
Got it. So we got to make sure the Annie's still working, and if it's not, then we got to get people out.
The Annie is the least of our concerns at the moment in time. The 54 lives that we have down there are probably our most primary concern at this moment.
Gotcha.
Probably.
Yes, the facility has a considerable price tag to it, but it is insured, and we could possibly start over on that. And excuse my translations into English. It is only the 5th language that I speak, with the last one that I picked up. So sometimes my word choice is a bit to be desired on that. So yes, the employees that are operating this are definitely the primary concern that we have.
Wonderful.
Now, before we lost contact, were there any injuries or anything like that? Or anything to warrant any worry before then?
The separation occurred and everything was fine until 6 hours after the separation, and the regular check-in did not occur. And that was when we should have had a regular interval on that. Again, during intense storm situations like this, we do decouple, and that's why we have the ELF communicator to transmit back and forth. And unfortunately, there has been nothing after the initial check-in. Mr. Parker, do you wish to address? Parker stands up, and again, very, very solid-looking individual. So he was like, I don't believe I've had the pleasure of working with any of you before, and I do apologize about that. Looking forward to having a quick, clean operation on this. I do need you to turn in any service weapons that you brought with you. They will be replaced. And I do believe that Lebowski here will pass out the new rifles for you all on this. These are XRM 227s. It was originally designed for NASA. Unfortunately, they really aren't going to be using those on the space station anytime soon. And it just happens to be perfect for our operations. A bullet stands a large chance of puncturing a hole in the hull of Sevastopol down there. And if that was to happen, you would be dead before you even realized that you had made a terrible, terrible mistake. So again, I'm asking you to turn in all of your ballistic firearms and utilize only the XRM 227, please. I don't intend to die down there. I don't believe that there will be a chance for us to need to utilize anything, but we are there to ensure safe operations during evacuations. So we need to make sure that we are prepared for any contingency on that.
I'd like to keep Johnny, my chainsaw.
Considering the fact that chainsaw is designed to cut through bulkheads and things along those lines, I do believe that could possibly be very useful during what we're doing. But I will ask you to temper the use of any of your demolitions. I have read your file, and
Don't
again,
worry, I won't cause any explosions.
I would certainly appreciate that. I do believe the rest of us would probably appreciate not being exposed to decompression.
You got anything smaller?
Anything smaller?
Yeah, I'd like to carry 2 guns.
I understand that. Unfortunately, time being pressed the way it is, this is what we have on hand.
I can work with that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And these arms are necessary for your research station.
These arms are part of ISS property, and this is what we had available to us to come and do our portion of the security operations. And while I do know that you're a respected scientist, I would appreciate that you would respect a soldier who has years of field operation in my particular orientation.
We got you covered out there.
I would like to insight him.
Please go ahead.
I feel like there's definitely something more that is not being shared.
Perhaps a little fishy.
Yeah, that's my line. That is going to be a 14.
This guy is like reading a concrete wall. If he's hiding anything, he did not pick it out. Doesn't mean that you're you don't still have your speculations. But when you look at this guy and try to read his demeanor, he just matches you with a solid blank stare. This guy probably has years and years of practice of not revealing anything. Does that satisfy your answer, Dr. Kane?
It is the answer I will receive.
That is correct. Gibbs, you're an old Navy man, right?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. I believe we can count on you as well. All right. If you will follow me, we'll head down to the sub-launch center and take a look at our ride. See, he doesn't seem to be quite as happy as well as hopping into this tin can. Through Nishimura, you all travel, and it is an absolutely amazing ship as far as the modern technology on this vessel. It is, again, still rolling, and at this point, I'm going to need Professor Tullio, and I'm going to need Dr. Kane to make a Constitution check at disadvantage.
At
The rest of you,
disadvantage.
with your Navy backgrounds and experience on ships, can make a Constitution check. Just a regular one, please.
Does my field work give me any sort of bonus here?
Tell you what, I will let you roll regular on that. No, wait, no. Actually, I can still keep you disadvantage on that.
Sure.
And was this a check or a saving throw?
Saving throw. My bad.
Wonderful.
Makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
10.
10.
17.
17,
25.
25.
Can you tell me again?
Constitution.
Constitution saving throw.
That would be a 20.
That's
Unnatural.
21.
21,
15.
15,
12.
12. All right, none of you are suffering from the effects. It is, again, very much a uncomfortable walk from here to there, just again because of the movement of the ship. But you are dealing with it. Your life experiences have gotten you from here to there. And all the way down to the sub bay, you all travel. Now, typically what you would expect is this sub to be launched off the side of the vessel. But given the rolling that you all are experiencing, you're pretty convinced it would probably shatter any sub that would be trying to launch that way, just from the swinging around in the air and that sort of thing. Getting down to the sub bay, as the doors open up, you can see that there is a gentleman leaning over the Campbell, and he's talking to a couple of the engineers. And before you, when you look at this particular submarine, the submarine itself is definitely very modern looking. It has 6 turbines that are kind of scattered along the long hull of it. There is a very bulbous operator's compartment with a back end area that looks like it must be equipment and storage, that sort of thing. It is completely separate from the cargo transport portion where the container that you'll be riding in is docked. And you can see that they have done a lot of modifications on this cargo container. Not only is it designed to make transit up and down originally from those depths, but now they've added a entry and exit port for you all. You can see that it has been welded on and reinforced at several different points on it. And the door sits open at this point, and as you can kind of look in and see, it looks like they have put in bench seats with reinforced harnesses for the ride down. And that's all you can see. The interior does have lighting. And it looks like there is a storage bay, maybe, for your equipment, that sort of thing. And the gentleman that is speaking with the engineers that are working on it pivots around and looks over, and he's like, Gibbs! And hops down. He has beautiful, beautiful bronze skin. You can tell he's definitely from somewhere in the Caribbean. Comes running up and gives you a huge hug, and you recognize Rio from back in the day when you were training him as an officer.
Oh.
And he smiles at you, and he's like, oh my gosh, you dog, what are you doing here?
Well, I'm here to make sure that these saps all come back alive, I guess.
Yeah, I'm here to make sure I get you guys down and back alive too. So this should be an interesting ride. I've never had to haul something like this down with people in it. Usually I got nicer digs to get you down. Sorry about that, Gibbs.
That's all right. I don't even want to take one of my own, but not to go that deep.
Yeah, I heard you're running a salvage operation and stuff like that right now. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, I done rescued a ship for the court pier, and they bought me a brand new ocean tug.
That sounds about right. They do pay well and take care of their people. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. Hey, I tell you what, come on here. I'm gonna need your help on this ride. Let's show you what I got for you. Takes you into the sub. Into the cargo container area, and as you step in again, you can see the bench rows for everybody to sit on. But towards the end of it, where his operations center would be docked, they have set up multiple monitors, and there is an operations seat in there that would control the monitors as well. You can see they connect, obviously, the cameras that are on the exterior on this. He's like, look, man, he's like, when we're getting down there around Sevastopol, I'm going to need you to help me keep eyes out. Because, again, if there is something that's gone wrong, I don't want to run into any wreckage. And if there's something going on with that, that cable, when we hit about the 5,000 foot mark, I don't want to run into that either. So,
You give me about 5 minutes to look around the outside. It looked like this girl got some big hips. We're going to have to make sure that she can navigate all right.
it's going to handle like a dump truck, that is for sure, my friend. I'll tell you what, you go ahead and give it an inspection outside. When you're done, we'll get all these people in their gear stowed, and let's get rolling on this.
Cool.
Sound
Can
good to
I,
you?
like, roll to make sure that I think that this ship is going to make it?
I would say go ahead and give me an insight check on that. Yeah.
Is it 18?
Or mechanics. Actually, you can use insight
Oh,
or
mechanics?
Either one.
Oh, mechanics is way better. That's a 21.
21. All right. You're impressed with the work that's been done, given how fast they've had to put this thing together. As you go and you check the welds and you check the reinforcement on it, you are actually feeling very confident in the docking collar. Looks like they have had they've got a couple different ways for you to access Sevastopol on here. There is a standard docking collar that maybe could dock with one of the exterior ports on it. And it still has the docking attachments where it could go in through, let's say, a storage center, things along those lines. You would prefer if you could go in a standard route, maybe up through a moon pool or something like that. But the other two options certainly give you a few variable ways you could get in. The monitoring rig on there is set up real nice. The electrical system seems to be working very well. The monitors themselves are quite large. You have 6 monitors that are all set up that give you multiple different views of the exterior from different angles. They're large enough for anybody that's sitting in the bench row behind you to be able to look up and see everything that's going on with that. The welds and such to get set in the bench rows are definitely going to handle a lot of stress and tumble. Actually, they seem almost a little over-engineered for what you're dealing with, but better to be safe than sorry. And outside of that, you can't really find any fault of with the equipment that you've got on there.
I will actually say so to everybody. Like, well, she's kind of ugly, but she'll do the job. I'm just gonna climb in.
All right. And Gibbs is stepping up into the bubble to drive it, and there are a couple of the engineers that are on the deck that are kind of helping you all stow your gear and get into the thing. Is there anything anybody's asking for or requesting before you go?
If there's any extra battery packs for my chainsaw, they take 6 amps. I don't know if that's available.
The engineers go and rustle up 3 new batteries for you.
Great.
So you have 3 additional batteries to power your chainsaw. Anything else?
Yeah, I got a question. How's our supply stock looking? Food, medicine, stuff like that. How long are we planning on being down there? Do we have enough?
You are not bringing down any additional food and rations. But what you do have is a full medical kit. It is basically a field trauma kit that you've got down there. Like, you could amputate, you can suture. It is designed for intense trauma situations. Basically something that you would be well versed in, given your prior MOS. So yeah, you look at this thing and you're quite happy with what they've got for you on that. So if anybody needs a limb taken off, this will be the man to help you out with that. Or she can help you with the chainsaw and he can sew it up.
Makes us a good duo.
Exactly on
making
that.
that dream work.
If you want to be a pirate real quick, they can help you. Anything else that we're looking for?
Can I get a couple fireworks and a 9-iron?
The engineers
Gotcha.
The engineer's looking like, what? Okay, so everybody climbs aboard.
Wait. Oh, yeah. Good.
Gloves.
Gloves.
I think 6, 7 sets, just in case there's any.
You're looking for neoprene. You're looking for
Work gloves.
work gloves.
I bring my own. I ain't got enough for you though.
There's medical
Flat man.
gloves in the bay.
Again, for broken glass or any sort of serrated metal if there's been some sort of breach.
Oh, okay, absolutely. And they produce several sets of engineer's gloves for you.
Take one.
I'll take one.
All right.
I will as
Of
well.
course.
So
Yeah.
go ahead.
What about oxygen?
Oxygen. Unfortunately, they're not going to really equipping you with any oxygen tanks or anything else along those lines. More than likely, it wouldn't help you down there. You're not really going to be diving per se.
Yeah.
If the Sevastopol is compromised, there probably is not a whole lot left for you to go in, given the situation there. It might be a short trip down and back. So they basically, any other basic equipment or anything else you might need. All right. With that being said, the engineers secure the hatch. Hear it bolt in with a and the seal's nice and tight. You can actually hear the pumps go, and it gives a nice tight vacuum as the pressure equalizes inside of here. The nice thing about this particular pressure system is that it keeps you at surface pressure. So the decompression process is much reduced. You will not have to worry about spending hours and hours and hours of waiting in this thing. So on the monitors, the side monitors flash up, but in the upper right-hand corner of one of your monitors to the far right, there's a picture of the interior of the pilot's compartment for the Campbell there, and you can see Rio's face kind of distorted by it because it's kind of right up in here and it's large and a little bit out of focus. It looks a little tad bit ridiculous at certain points when he looks over to you. He's like, "All right, everybody secured. We've got all of our seals and plates, Gibbs." Oh, very good. All right. Pulls over his mic. He's like, okay, roger that. Ishimura command. This is the Campbell. Over. You hear the voice on the radio crackle. This is Ishimura command. Receiving you loud and clear. Over. Ishimura, all systems are green. We are looking to launch. This is the Campbell. We are go for launch. Repeat, we are go for launch. And looking through the exterior monitors, you can see that the engineers have cleared the bay and everything is basically locked down inside of this bay. The doors are all sealed. And outside, you hear a series of metallic ka-chunks, ka-chung, as these large metal clamps are releasing on the sub, and it swings out over these giant bay doors. And then in a very easy motion, the doors begin to open up and the seawater begins to flood into the interior of this entire chamber, filling it up. And as the Ishimura is riding up and down in here, the water level never gets lower. It all fills the entire interior, making it a much easier transition. Again, this is stopping you from getting torn apart by those waves. And then with a final jolt, the Campbell drops free of the Ishimura. And you can feel yourselves begin the short descent. And while the ocean is crazy and rocketing around, it's not so bad where you all are. It's much more reduced. Now, granted, the ocean is still moving you about, but at this point, as you begin to go under the power of the smaller sub, it is actually a lot easier for you since you're actually not being buffeted by all those surface waves. And you can hear Ishimura command come up with the radio, like, all right, we've got you clear of the hull. You are clear to begin your descent to Sebastopol. Good luck. We wish you the best of fortunes down there. Please get back safe. Rio calls back over to him. He's like, yep, reading you loud and clear on that. And Campbell is ready to go, Ishimura. At this point, Rio clicks in. You can hear him over the loudspeakers in there. He's like, good afternoon, passengers. This is your captain speaking here. I'd like to welcome you aboard flight 739. We are currently on descent to the bottom of the Kuril Kamchatka Trench, cruising at a speed of 2.6 knots. We have an estimated time to target of 2 hours and 36 minutes. Weather on the surface is quite dodgy, but you won't have to worry about that for terribly long. On the crew cabin, we're going to have our steward, and she'll be bringing you some in-flight meals and snacks and beverages there to help us sink to the bottom a tad bit faster. We have an in-flight movie of Waterworld, starring Kevin Costner, so that should help you there with that motion sickness. So sit back and relax and enjoy the rest of your flight. And now the sub begins its descent down. As you're looking on the monitors, you can see that you're in what is the epipelagic zone, which is the bright, well, technically which should be the bright area, but given the storm clouds and the time of day that you're in, there is not a whole lot of terribly good light. And again, those first 2 meters are probably the roughest, but as you push down past that to the mesophilic zone, which is your twilight zone, the weather seems to have any kind of impact at all on the sub. It is now very much smooth sailing, and as you're looking at the monitor, it's very hard to kind of tell what you're doing, but it feels like you're almost doing this slow kind of corkscrew as you're heading down, just a real easy descent. It isn't until you hit about the 4,000 meter mark that anything interesting begins to really happen on your dive, and that's where the bioluminescent creatures begin to appear on the monitor, and it's quite amazing. For any of you that have never dove to this particular point, it is fascinating to see these little crackles of light sparkle here and there, and then every so often something will race by one of the cameras, a long zigzagging item. Looks almost like a snake, and then a little bit later you'll see this pulsating, almost looks like a UFO, and then you realize it's a jellyfish. And amazing tiny little creatures, and every now and then something much larger seems to be chasing them. And you can feel that you didn't realize that you were quite as stressed as you were coming down here until all the pops and the tinks that you're hearing as the containers adjusting to the pressure changes on the exterior really begin to kind of sink in. It's almost a claustrophobic style environment in here. It feels kind of tight. You got the recirculated air, a little bit of a metallic taste to it. Looking around, I kind of smell everybody a little bit here in the room just because of the tight confines. But if any of you wish to move about the cabin, you are free to disengage your seatbelts at this point. Is anybody doing anything while you're going down into the descent?
Leaning back and getting comfortable.
All right. You see that Takahashi has popped his belt. He goes up and he's standing next to Gibbs, looking at the monitors and just kind of watching what's going on that. Anybody else?
I think I'm gonna stand up and kind of walk up to, everyone checking up on it, like, hey, how you feeling? Like,
Do a
descent-
welfare check.
yeah, that descent's pretty rough. Everything okay?
All right. As you are walking about doing that, there are two additional individuals here that you did not meet on your flight. One of them is a tall, skinny-looking older gentleman, very pale-looking. It seems to be just totally rubbing his knuckles and just very nervous in his actions. And next to him is a younger Japanese kid. You can see he's kind of just a bit like a street punk for the most part. And he has a laptop. He's got some bubble gum and some headphones on, and currently he is playing Call of Duty. 54.
I'd like to walk up to the skinnier old man, tap him on the shoulder. You doing all right?
Oh, yeah. Normally I don't go down on these operations here, but I'm the only risk assessment officer that was in the area here. So Frederick Kaplinski, this is my first dive down. I didn't expect that my first dive would be all the way to the bottom of the ocean. Is there anything I should be worry about? There's like no megalodons and such, right? That's just right TV.
I'm just have a glance up when I hear that and just shake my head.
I'm not the one to ask on that one. I'm not entirely for sure. I would assume they're myths. I mean, that's the way the movies always portrayed them. But no, I don't. I would assume we're perfectly fine down here. We got you covered. And by the way, I'm Specialist Blake. And then we got a couple of others down here that trust me, we got you safe and covered down here.
I plan to stick next to the lady with the big saw guns.
I would highly recommend it,
Seems like she could probably
honestly.
kill a megalodon.
Honestly.
Um,
I'd like to try to calm his nerves down through talking
Okay.
with him. I have a trait called soothing. I gain advantage on persuasion checks when dealing with people who are angry, afraid, or in pain.
well, I do believe you would certainly qualify as afraid, so I do believe that would give you advantage on that.
All right, there we go.
You did it.
Yeah, that first one was bad. I'm glad I have advantage. A 21.
21. All right. You pull him aside and begin having a conversation with him. And it takes about 10, 15 minutes to kind of really put this guy at ease. You learn a little bit about his family. You learn that he's been working for OEIC for quite some time. His big specialty is that he's an insurance risk assessment officer. Like, he is often called in to make assessments on whether it is good to continue investing money in something or whether not, whether there are risks that are beyond the benefit of the company, that sort of situation. And again, he's not quite sure why he's being brought down here, but he was told to go, and he's a company man, and that's what he does.
I assure him, you're important. Being here is... you being here is important. We're going to need all the help that we can get. Yeah.
You're a good man. Thank you, Mr. Blake. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Thank you. Yes. Rio's voice pops over the monitor. He's like, "Hey, Gibbs, can you turn on the floodlights? We're about depth for the coupling, and pretty much right on target as far as my displays got here. I cannot find it anywhere. Last thing I'm going to do is run into this thing. That could give us a real short trip to the bottom. Pretty short. It's a real fast trip to the bottom. Do you see it out there anywhere?
We'll look for the switches he's talking about.
Right in front of you, easily labeled.
Yeah.
Doesn't really take a roll.
Hit those switches, and also hearing people using people's real names is going to make me paranoid. So I'm going to go ahead and get a rag out of my kit and a wax pen. And I'm looking at that little map of this place we're going, and I'm drawing a little map for myself just in case crap hits the fan, because
All right. Give yourself a little makeshift map on that. Booting up the lights at this point does reveal a lot of little creatures that you didn't even realize were there. And it does actually start drawing some more little beasties in. But nowhere, as far as lights can penetrate out, are you seeing the tethers anywhere on that. What you got there, Gibbs?
I don't see nothing.
Okay, well, that's not really a good sign. That tether cable should be around here somewhere.
I mean, shoulda,
so,
coulda, woulda, but
Yeah,
what would I roll
me,
for that?
Help me keep an eye out for that.
Do I roll to see if I see anything? Perception?
Perception.
22.
22. It is nowhere that you see whatsoever. As a matter of fact, you're very confident that if you're in the right location, the tether is not here.
Yeah, Rio, that's a negative.
Okay, well, tell you what, buddy, why don't you keep an eye on that as we keep on going down. As far as I can tell, I've got nothing on the sonar. But, yeah, if you spot that, you need to let me know.
Copy.
'Cause again, we do not want to run into that. Thank you. Wow, okay, that's not good. And radio cuts off, and you all continue down towards the bottom. It's probably another 45 minutes, 50 minutes at this point in time before Gibbs pops back on. In the meantime, is anybody else doing anything while you're going down?
I want to ask the kid for a piece of gum.
Kid does not even look up, just whips out. You don't recognize the brand, and unless you read Japanese, you can't really see what it says on there. But it's got a cute little Hello Kitty picture on it, so you probably trust it.
Sweet.
All right. Tucks it back in and just keeps on playing.
I'm working on my little frog robot named Beans. Just working on it.
Just to make sure Beans is up to speed.
Yes,
All right.
and not angry.
I'm just looking at beans.
My first roll of the evening is a natural 20. Beans is not angry and quite pleased.
Wow.
Yeah, well, that certainly beats what I was rolling before the night. So let's hope that keeps up with the monster. Moving forward on that,
Beans.
as you all are heading down, getting down to that base piece, you hear Gibbs come up on the radio again. He's like, hey, Gibbs,
Like
check
me
out.
or Rio?
Oh, sorry, Rio.
Okay.
Comes up on the monitor again. He's like, Gibbs, check it out, man. Check it out. It's like the Grand Canyon down there, but kind of like on the moon or something, but, underwater. Anyway, look out the monitor, towards the right.
Ooh, I look
Whatever.
out the monitor as well.
All right. And Professor Chilio, this is amazing for you. This, as a marine geologist, this is something that you have been waiting for a large chunk of your life. You are right at the top of the trench mark. At this point is where you're going to be slipping into the trench itself, and it does look like the precipice of the Grand Canyon on this side.
It's amazing to study something for so long and never think you'd see it in person.
It is quite amazing for you. You can, as you look at it there, you can see that it is the heavy edge of the trench. Unfortunately, you can't really see anything else to the other side of it, but you are going down the trench wall at this particular point in time, and it's another 10 minutes before you actually reach a point where the abyssal plain now connects to the other side, the Pacific plate, versus the Osaka plate. And now you are in a true trench heading down. Now, it's hard to really see either edge of it, but you could see where that edge of that abyssal plain was at that point, because the trench is still relatively wide and your lights only penetrate out a certain distance. But again, heading down in this, going against that wall and that corkscrew as you're coming around, you can see that every so often as you come past the trench, the wall of the trench. It's actually pretty interesting because there are actually pockets of life on the trench wall there, as there's some apparent volcanic activity that must be going on, and there are some smokers that are going on, the black smokers, and around them are all kinds of fish and animal life. And as you pass it along, you can see other areas where something must have shifted and the smokers are no longer active there, and there are tons of these tube worms that have been abandoned up along that wall. And now, continuing down, it is probably another 15 minutes at this point in time before you hear Rio's voice come back over. He's like, all right. He's like, we are coming in to the to where the Sebastopol is. Hey, at this distance, like, we should be picking up some sort of automated radio transmissions from them, usually to get us in. I'm not picking anything up on that. In the distance, you all can see there's a faint glimmer of light, almost like a beacon of hope for you in this sea of just utter blackness. And as you travel a little bit forward, slowly out of the darkness, the Sevastopol Deep Operations platform materializes. It starts again as a tiny twinkling little light, and they begin growing brighter and brighter, and finally separating into individual sources that are scattered across the exterior of the structure. And as more and more of these lights become visible, you can actually kind of see a reverse silhouette of the platform against the emptiness of the black background. Rio, at this point, you can hear him calling over the radios. He's like, I got nothing on the Gertrude. Got nothing on the automated ones. Mr. Takahashi, Sevastopol's, it's non-responsive. I've got nothing. Just dead air. Again, like I said, even the automated system's not even broadcasting. And Takahashi kind of asks you for the, do I need the microphone for this?
I'll just like peel it off my head and hold it over.
He grabs it and holds it in his hand. He's like, yes, that is definitely very odd. You're not even picking up any of the automated docking sequences? And Gibbs is like, nah, man. He's like, Rio's like, Gibbs, I got nothing, Mr. Takahashi. There's nothing coming up here. And now Sevastopol has come into full view at this point. And you can see that it is, again, much like the map that you saw, a collection of various modules, some 2 and 3 stories tall, that radiate off that central donut style shape in the center. And as you're looking over it, Takahashi is like, well, not Kakahai. And his eyes grow very wide with surprise, and Rio's like, oh, whoa, what is going on there? And as you look, you can see that the conical tower for the operations center is crushed like a can that has just been squeezed, almost like a soda can of a child. There is a debris field that's kind of scattered out around it, and you can see why the tether wasn't in the position where it should have been, as a good chunk of it has fallen back on top of the Sevastopol station and disappears out into the darkness. Swinging over, again, as you begin kind of avoiding where the cable, some of it's floating up in the water, Takahashi looks over, he's like, yes, that is definitely decompression on the operations center. The base seems to be still standing, but they've lost the top portion, which explains why we don't have communications, but the ANI should be still functioning. We should have had some sort of backup, ELF or even DLF signals on that. Go ahead and continue a sweep of the exterior. Please, we need to definitely gather more information.
I'm going to mark the changes with big scrawling lines across my map.
Marking out the operations center, like, oh, that's not there. So as you begin to swing around and look at Sevastopol at this point, coming around the operations center, you are passing by where the sub bays would be. This is where the moon pool to enter into the station. And you can see that it kind of sits at an angle. Again, looks like there's been some damage to it, but you can hear Rio suck in some air, and as you look in the monitors, you can see on the ground beneath it that the doors of the moon pool have ripped off. Looks like a systems failure of some nature, and they're laying on the ground, but you can see underneath them that there's the remains of a sub that looks like it has suffered catastrophic decompression. It's hard to tell which of the 2 subs that might have been, but the doors of it are obviously laying on top of them. And it is just, the sub bay is certainly inaccessible at this particular point in time. And Takahashi he's like, well, let's see if there's any additional damage to the facility. And as you begin swinging around, you can see from where you are that there's nothing else that appears to be visibly damaged on the exterior. If you would to make any perception rolls, I can give you additional information, but it will require a little bit. Let's go ahead and I'll give you all 2 rolls as a group. You can roll for this set of 4, pick somebody, and for this set of 3, I'll let you pick somebody for 2 separate
Does anyone-
perception rolls. Roll with advantage.
I'm
+6.
not.
Great. You got it. Yeah.
So Blake, you would be with Clark and Dr. Kane. And which one of you is going to make the roll for your party?
Got it.
Rolls with advantage.
Oh, okay. Okay. 22.
22?
21.
21. Okay. as all of you are glued to the monitors at this particular point in time, all the eyes are watching and looking about. What you see is that, again, there's no additional damage to the exterior of Sevastopol at this point. The medical arm looks fine. Biolabs, nothing appears to be out of place on that. Agroponics ring itself seems to be stable and functioning, even though the 2 failed pods that attach to it are still kind of hanging off of it. It doesn't appear like looks like the auto seals must have stopped additional catastrophic failure from going into the agroponics ring, which would have really caused the entire station to be lost for the most part at that point. What is very odd for you all is that you're noticing that none of the exterior automated systems are functioning at this point. Again, you have the lights, but on the surface of Sevastopol, you can see the small little robot crawlers that patch and clean the skin of Sevastopol are all frozen in place. The automated strobe beacon is completely off. And looking at the facility itself, it looks like the reactor is functioning at low power at this point, given that there should be some reactor venting and such going on, and you're seeing very little of that activity happen with it. Which Takahashi looks over and he's like, do you think it's safe to enter in, Mr. Gibbs?
Is there another sub bay?
Well, to be honest with you, we could always use the backup system in the storage portion of storage pod. Yes, it's designed to receive regular cargo containers, so we technically could have the Campbell drop us into the dock with the cargo lock and have the automated facility bring us in.
That sounds like it might be the best option at this point.
This is very true. I don't know about you, but as good as our engineers are, I would prefer to test the docking color as a last resort, if that's okay with you.
I mean, we can drive her in manually, and as long as those bay doors close, we'd be all right.
Well, it looks like from the top of the storage there that those would receive a cargo container. So you're in agreement? Excellent. Let's I do believe that we probably need to sit back down in our seats. Is that correct?
Yeah, y'all need to buckle in. This might get bumpy.
As everybody situates back in, locks themselves in nice and tight. Takahashi calls up to Rio. He's like, yes, bring us in through the storage container. Roger that, Mr. Takahashi. Yeah, let's go in and get that taken care of. And he begins swinging the Campbell around. And just as he is doing that, there's a flash of motion across your monitors. And before you can even realize what you're looking at, it's already too late. And you can feel the whole Campbell jolt as you come across some support cables off to one side, and actually whips the Campbell at a real hard angle, causing all of you to slam tightly against your belts. And Rio lets out some colorful metaphors at this point in time and begins trying to get the Campbell back under control. And it is quite a jostle for a moment until you can hear this wrenching sound off to one side of the Campbell, and you break free. And Rio is like, oh man, he's like, Gibbs, we lost a thruster. He's like, I gotta sit you guys down quick. And brings the Campbell over to the storage facility. And it is quite uneven as he's setting it down. And after a few moments of him kind of positioning, it clicks into place, and you can hear the automated docking facility latch on to the container. And Rio pulls the lever and releases the container, and slowly you all descend into Sevastopol Station. A few moments transpire as the container is moved into its storage facility position, and you're pretty sure at this point, given that there aren't any more automated sounds, that you are in the clear. Takahashi is very visibly nervous at this point. You can see him looking over at you. He's like, I've never gone in to one of our facilities this way, Mr. Gibbs. I believe you will need to open the seal, please.
You ain't got no back doors in your home country? And I start tapping on the buttons to make sure all the pressure is correct.
You have, from the readouts on that, you do have atmospheric pressure, which lets you know that you have a complete clean seal. You are actually inside Sevastopol at this point in time, as the container itself has been brought down in to the storage facility.
Hey, one of y'all muscles turn that crank while I monitor this just in case.
Sure.
I have one of them open the door.
All right. As you pop the door, who's doing the opening?
I can do the opening.
All right, there. So small as you go over and break the seal and open up the hatch. As you do so, there's kind of a bit of an exchange of atmospheric pressure, and the cool air from inside the storage facility rushes in towards you. It is quite chilly as it comes in. Appears to be very quiet in there. It looks like emergency lighting's on. There are several points of light in the room, but they are very much spotlighting. And it is quiet and still.
Going in.
Well, ain't nobody else going first. I'll hop through the hole, like throw my bag in and hop out.
Hey,
Then I'll start helping everybody else out.
Michaels, Smalls, get down there and secure. Wispowski, I want you down there as well. And the gentleman that seems to be assisting Parker, again, another ISS individual, hops down with you all. And given his demeanor, looks to be a rifleman. He runs over to one of the boxes and he has his rifle out and he is panning the area, making sure, gives you the clear sign, and he's in position. Parker looks at the rest of you all. He's like, we can begin disembarking at this point. I would recommend that we keep several of you back in here until we have secured.
What ain't
facility.
you telling us? You got you guys running around, cocked and ready.
Mr. Gibbs, in a panic situation like this, I have no idea how the individuals down here are going to react. I do not intend to be overwhelmed by people trying to flee and get out of here and get ourselves killed, or have them throw us out of our own escape route back to the surface.
Fair enough.
So I appreciate your candor on that, and I don't mind you discussing that in the future, but I can assure you my intent with this operation is to make sure it goes smooth and by the numbers.
They could go a lot smoother if we know what we're dealing with. What is it? Who's got technology to get out of here? Chinese? Brazilians?
What's that? Technology?
There's a hole blown in the cone, the observatory.
The operations center? Yes.
Yeah.
I have no idea what caused a failure like that. Could have been a faulty weld. Could have been anything that gone on. Maybe one of the service robots could have caused damage on that. I don't know. All I know is that my job is to ensure that all of you are protected and make it back all right, and that we have a clean, quick evacuation should that necessitate.
I'll just give an eye to Gibbs. Like,
I think first thing we need to do is make sure that the life support systems is running correctly.
makes sense.
Mr. Clark and Mr. Gibbs, if you wouldn't mind going down and making sure that atmosphere is correct,
Copy.
proceed forward. Thank you. And he begins to disembark. And Mr. Michaels, as second, I do expect that you will back my plays on this. Do we have an understanding?
Aye, aye.
Thank you.
Out freaking standing.
And out he goes with you. Takahashi remains back up with the rest of you. And so Clark and Gibbs, what are you doing at this point in time? You do have there are several pieces of technology that you could take with you that can scan the atmosphere. You also have other bits of hardware. Gibbs has got out his really versatile little friend maker there. As you're looking in the interior of the storage bay itself, there are multiple shelving units that are packed with all kinds of supplies in here. It seems to be mostly supplies that are designed for operational upkeep of the facility. There are plates, there are wires, spools of wire, but again, they're labeled inside these crates and containers. In the far edge of the room is where your large container has actually come down. You can see where there's an automated set of gambles that will bring it back up to those doors, which would open up, store the container, and then move it back out of here without flooding the entire storage area. So you can see the transfer system on that. Inside the room itself, it is bloody cold. It is probably about 50-something degrees, towards the lower end of 50. There is a lot of humidity in the air, which almost makes this place feel like a walk-in cooler. As far as the air temperature goes, it immediately, any exposed skin that you have goosebumps up. It is very chilly down here. And what else are you doing at this particular point in time?
Can I take one of the machines to scan the area?
As you are scanning the atmosphere, what you do notice is that, again, it is out of the regular range. Normally it's kept at about 40% humidity. It seems to be up at around 65, 67% humidity. The O2 and the CO2 and some other organic style molecules in the air are out of ratio than it would normally be kept at a functioning level down here. It has a very, almost like a, not really mildewy taste, but there's like a off taste to the air. Like the air filtration systems aren't working 100%.
Does it taste fishy?
Does it taste fishy? Yeah, no, it doesn't taste fishy. Tastes a little. I would like you to give me a perception on that, actually.
Choky.
Natural 20.
Tastes a little rotten.
No.
Don't be shellfish, tell
Like,
us.
like
Oh man.
like meat that's been left out a little bit too long. Kind of like tastes like that.
It's pretty nasty.
It's not overwhelming, but it is a little.
Grapes. I'll report that to Gibbs.
Noted. I pull out my makeshift map and I'm like, where you think the life support is in this place?
Everywhere. And there's probably the little locations on there that have like the little person mark.
Life support would probably be located near the reactor and generator within the engineering section of this, which from where you are would be coming out of storage and off to what would be your left and following that exterior ring around.
Well then, say we head out of the storage, and is the bulkhead sealed or is it standing open?
The bulkhead appears to be closed at this point.
All right, check for pressure on the other side of the bulkhead. Is there any kind of data pads that tell me if everything's
Yes, there is
correct?
data pad, but it is pitch black.
Can I fix it?
You can certainly give it a try. I would say use your, I think it's mechanical for you, correct?
Yeah.
And given that this is electrical, you would be able to roll with advantage on it.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. All right, as you look at the panel, nothing normal seems to be solving the issue, and you pull the panel out, and as you're looking at it, if this was a natural occurring issue with it, like, technology just kind of failing, it would be very difficult for you to believe this looks to have been sabotaged as far as the panel goes. It is really fried, and not only that, the hydraulics on the doors stuff look like they have been popped. So it would take you hand cranking this thing open to get it to open. So you'd have to disengage the secondary locks by hand cranking all four of them.
Repeat that back.
Gibbs, you know right where these would be. Once Clark tells you that, you know right where the panels to open that up those hydraulics would be.
Okay. I will probably take a person with me so that if someone else needs to know this while we're down here, that we'll have a second person that knows their way around broken bulkhead equipment.
So, as you explain the basic features of the doors, letting you know that these can be bypassed if the electronics fail. You show them how to remove the panels, you show them where the crank piece would need to go in, and literally this is a terrible, boring, long process of cranking these hydraulic locks on this door to get them to open up. And one by one, you pop all four of these and release the door. So as you release the door, and it slowly swings open, and as it's swinging open, the air from the exterior is now pushing into your room, and you can smell this heavy, acrid stench of burning plastics, An industrial smell. It burns your eyes and it irritates your lungs as the air rushes in. And you can see out in the hallway, pressed up against the door, is an area that is carbon scored. Lots of vicious scorch marks on the wall. There are masses of melted materials that have slagged down and have pulled these coagulated amorphous blobs by the door itself, looking like a lot of the paneling and the covering of these walls have just slid down in a fire that has raged in this area here. And to the right of the doors, as you look over, you can see that there is a charred skeletal remains there of a human. Out in the hallway itself, there are red strobing lights that are flashing. And if you look to either direction, you can see that, again, this is that agroponics ring that makes that circular portion of that donut when you were looking from the map, actually looking from the exterior above on that. There's no sound coming from the ring itself. And again, there are the flashing warning lights that are going off.
Those are the only lights?
That's the only lights that are currently illuminating that area. It's very dark out in there, but again, with the flashing red lights, it does create some form of illumination as they pulse and strobe.
I tap my headlamp. I won't do it. I don't want to blind y'all.
I appreciate that because it's pointing right at it.
And I look around through the door just to see if the coast is clear before we start going in.
Let's go ahead and make a perception.
That's a 15.
15. As far as you can tell, there doesn't appear to be anything waiting for you out there in the shadows. See where the hallway arcs and bends around to your right. There are several additional pressure doors that lead, apparently, you're assuming from where you are as far as the map goes, that would be the sub bay and then probably the command center just past that. There is another doorway to the left-hand side of that ring, sort of the interior side, that must lead to the crew quarters. Again, as it arcs to the left, as you're looking in that direction, there is another door just down on that interior section that, again, must also lead to that crew section. And engineering and the reactor should be the doors on the exterior to your left as you move down that way. The hallway has some scattered boxes here and there. Looks like some storage boxes that have been stacked up against the walls, kind of scattered out into the hallway itself. Plants are still growing down here, but the air is very cold. You can see some of the more herbaceous ones have wilted somewhat. Again, it's still around 52, 53 degrees in here. It feels, again, very much like a walk-in freezer. And you can, at certain points as you exhale, if you have a heavy exhalation, you can also see just a little bit of your vapor.
Do I see a source of fire?
No. The fire has gone out. It looks like it was very localized to this area. If you wish to investigate that, you can certainly try to investigate that.
Hey, what you make of this?
Hey, Smalls. C4, Semtex, what do we got?
I have no idea.
Give me an investigation if you'd like.
Yeah, I would like to.
All
6.
right. 6. All right. You rule out explosives.
Definitely not explosives.
Outside of that, you're not quite sure, except it burned real well.
Something flammable.
Is there any kind of debris from maybe like broken bottles or any fuel source around?
You can take a look at that as well, yes, if you wish.
While he's doing that, can I take a quick glance at the body to see if it's the burning that killed him?
For you, that would be medical.
11?
11. All right, as you poke around, Gibbs, you do not see anything like guessing like a Molotov or something you're kind of looking around for, or
Yeah.
a jar that might have contained something flammable. No, you see nothing like that. It looks, as best you can tell, again, like something scorched out that particular direction.
Hey, your name's Clark?
Yeah.
You good with electricity and stuff, right?
Yes.
Does it look like there might have been an electrical fire over here to you?
What, investigation?
Let's do, or you can do investigation or mechanical if you wish.
25.
25. It is definitely not electrical. This looks like there was some combustion source that ignited this area. Again, you don't find any shattered glass or remains of a bottle or anything else along those lines, but something definitely hit this area and ignited it. The fire definitely terminated whatever this poor human, whoever they were.
Wow.
So I can't make out like any more information. Like explosions is what I deal with. Like
Exactly. It's not. You know that it's not an explosive that did this. You for sure know it's not an explosive. But again, what might have caused this? I mean, something that obviously could produce fire caused the damage here. But again,
what are you doing?
Building the gun. What it look like?
They gave us guns.
They ain't giving me one.
so Gibbs is the most janky makeshift looking gun that you could think of from his pack of supplies there. It almost looks like a hyper potato launcher as far as you're concerned.
Great. We're saved.
We're gonna have you lead the pack, right?
Takahashi and the rest of you will have come down out of the thing unless you wish to remain in there. Takahashi has moved towards the front,
Grab my bag of nails and I stuff it in the end.
stuffed a bunch of nails at the end of that. All right.
Okay.
I think we should begin searching for the survivors. Do you not believe that would be the most appropriate action?
Do you want my honest opinion?
I would appreciate it.
Yeah, I think we should go back to the surface. Just a thought. This was not an electrical fire. Someone sabotaged the doors. But we're working against something that's working against us. I would prefer to go back. Just a thought.
I can't argue with you on that, but Mr. Rio says that he is having to get into his ADS to repair the Campbell currently. So it seems that we are here for a bit longer.
We should all wait in storage. I can help repair the ship. So,
Do you have another diving suit to get out there?
No.
There might be another one located on
mean-
here. There are several. We'd have to go get them. If you wish to go outside, because I do believe a quick swim for you would probably not go over terribly well.
You said there's another ADS on this facility?
There are several ADS. The mining crew would use those to work with the automated miners, the systems that would do most of the recovery. So I do believe we would have to go over to the Geo Labs to access those.
Got it. You know where that's at on your map?
Roll it out. Yeah, probably about right there.
Geo Labs will be past engineering and the reactor, past the desalinization and water storage, and up towards the joint branching that houses the biolabs and the geolabs.
How many crew are they supposed to have on this station?
There would be a total of 54.
Alright, so there's 53 people missing.
Best case.
Well, here's how I see it. If there is some sort of mutiny going on, the more of us there is, the better. So I think we should probably stick together. We can keep the doctors in the middle. Volunteer to take up the rear.
I'll take the rear.
You gonna take point?
I got point.
Smalls, it might make sense for you to take point as well.
I'll stick
I'll
with
go
the squishies and the map.
Michaels, whereas Bowski will accompany you. Takahashi will put him towards the center.
Hey, what about the kid?
What's that?
The kid
Why do we have a kid here?
with the video games.
Oh, he's not really a kid. He's a young man, I'm assuming.
Sure, whatever.
Not one
Kid
of the miners.
Takes his little head set off there. He's been watching what you all are doing. He's like, yeah, dude, I'm like 22.
You ever seen a dead body?
Not a real one. It's kind of cool. I mean, I saw some pictures online and stuff
Yeah,
like
you
that.
better stick close.
Yeah, fantastic. You know, whatever, man.
What's your name, dirtbag?
Nikata, Hideo Nikata. Yeah.
Nikki. Got it.
Keep talking smack. Yeah, keep doing that, man. It's fantastic. So yeah, you're Michaels, right? You're Michaels. Yeah, good, fantastic, dude. Killer. What's your bank account look like, dude?
I'm E7. I'm all right.
Oh yeah. Oh, good. That's fantastic. That won't last long. Top of the side there.
Hey man, it's all right. Don't let him get to you.
Paycheck don't
It's
mean
fine.
squat if we ain't gonna get back to the surface. So we better get moving before this place gets too cold that we all turn into popsicles.
The kid zipped his jacket up. He's like, yeah. All right. Michaels.
Let's roll.
As your procession then moves out of the hallway, you're heading towards the biolabs.
Yes.
Is that what we said?
Is that clockwise?
So we're looking at the large map here. You all are coming out of storage here. It would cause you to move around this direction because your ultimate end goal will be that access point there.
Okay. Clockwise, we're looking 10 o'clock.
All right. As you all begin moving around the center of the agricultural, agroponics hub there, as you get to this door here for the crew compartment, the mechanisms on the door unlock and the door swings open. And you hear a voice from the interior there. Please step into the living quarters.
What happened to this guy out here in the hallway?
I can explain all of that for you here if you step into the living quarters. Unfortunately, my ability to access the facility has been limited. And at this point, you can hear that there's a bit of a fake quality. I mean, it sounds human enough as is, but the delivery on it is just not quite human. And Takahashi is like, it's the Annie, let's go. And he begins to step into the living quarters. And as he enters in past there, you see him kind of freeze as he reaches this point over here. Is anybody following Takahashi in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll stay in the hall.
So
I'm gonna stay out.
we don't have to
with
worry
the
about moving them
civilians.
around the map too much at this point. All right. So
I'll hang back with my fellow
yeah, hang back with everybody.
doctor.
So
yeah.
who is stepping into the living quarters? Okay, we got Smalls. Michaels, are you going? Are you
I'll stay in the hallway if Smalls has got
All right.
Takahashi.
I'm gonna stay out with the civilians.
All right. So
I won't
Park,
leave Smalls alone. I'll step through the door.
you're gonna step through it. All right. So as you step to where Takahashi is, the lights inside of the living quarters are also emergency lighting, but it is not the red flashing emergency lighting that's out the hallway. It is the spotlighting within the interior here. And as you look about, it is definitely a scene of carnage. There are several places where the furniture has these nasty slash marks on it, as if delivered in some sort of a frenzy. The upholstery and stuffing is tossed about almost like confetti. There are spatters of blood that dapple the walls and floor. And in several places, the sticky, dried remains of large splashes of the same crimson fluid coat everything in these very prodigious quantities, and leave you little doubt that the victim that was responsible for this could have survived such an attack. Towards the back end of the chamber, which is the far wall from where you're standing right now, you can see that there is a series of handprints, bloody handprints on the wall itself, and it looks like some macabre child's hand painting. But this is definitely the last struggle of some desperate individual, as the handprints begin to move further down the wall, closer towards the floor, as they are succumbing obviously to whatever mortal wound they have whatever they have encountered. And the last little bits of their handprints are swallowed up by a puddle and pile of viscera on the floor. However, just to the right where you are is a almost 6 foot tall glass panel. And from the glass panel, a female figurine in three-dimensional form kind of steps from either side of it, filling out on the panel, the holographic image projected on it. And she looks towards you, and again, it is not really looking with eyes, it is a holographic projection on you. And she's, please identify yourself. You do not appear to be on the records for Sevastopol Station. Takahashi seems to be in quite a bit of shock as he's looking around the vista, and Takahashi, Kijo, authorization, he says something in Japanese. If you understand it, is a series of kind of code words. And then for a moment later, there's a processing here. Authorization granted. Welcome, Takahashi. How can I assist you?
We need a medic.
I'll tell Michaels, hey, I'm gonna go in there and check it out, and I'll run up and catch up with Gibbs and the others.
Even with your medical training, as you step into the room, it is quite a shock looking at what lays before you here. Obviously, there was an attack done within this room, and it's hard to tell how many people suffered a terrible fate in here. However, there is a considerable amount of blood, much more than one human would certainly have, definitely more than two that you can kind of make out as far as the definite points of impact from this. Outside of that, there appears to be no living person within the room itself. You look over, you can see the holographic projection of a female. Very neutral in most of its appearance, but definitely feminine in the appearance of the projection.
Do I see any remnants of the attack? Like, does the attack look natural?
You may use your medical on that if you
Got a nat 1.
Nat 1?
Hey,
Okay, so one of the things that we do here, whenever somebody rolls a nat 1, is we have a very special die for them. Do not roll a red.
Dice of doom.
Don't roll red.
Or do.
It's up
What
to
could
you.
go wrong? Yeah.
Yeah. It's just blood all along.
not red.
Safe.
Excellent,
Yay.
excellent. So yes, all right. As you're looking at what's going on, you're not quite sure what has bothered you at this point, but it is this scene of carnage is just getting to you. Even with your battle-hardened experience, every now and then there's something that shakes a soldier, and this is your moment to be shaken. It is just so savage and brutal. I mean, the only thing that pops into your mind is almost like an animal attack. But outside of that, you've got nothing. It is you're just looking about, and you can see that Blake Gibbs, you can definitely recognize. He's not like a PTSD at this moment, but like he's shook, definitely.
Doc. Hey.
Yeah.
Snap out of it.
Yeah. Sorry. This isn't natural. I haven't seen anything this crazy before. No, I don't normally lose my people. I've never seen this much before.
You think this is an animal?
Yeah.
How would an animal get here?
It's not natural. It definitely wasn't another person.
Lean my head out the door. Hey, Dr. Kane.
Yes. Gibbs.
You might want to see.
You sound hesitant.
Well, you just gonna have to see it.
Watch your step, by the way.
I'm gonna put on the gloves. Yeah, so I'll be there in a moment. I'll be back. I will
Right.
walk in.
I'm sure at this point you're running out asking for some little booties for your shoes or something.
I don't have those, unfortunately. My loafers will be ruined.
And there's a very good chance that, because as you step from the room, the gore that is, and it has a very nasty metallic taste to the air down here, coppery.
Why would I want to see this at all?
Cause whoever did this ain't human.
I've never seen anything like this before. It definitely wasn't a person who did this, or people.
I don't work in forensics. Do I get any sort of gleam into the type of creature that could have caused this?
Yeah, I would say you could use your natural
My
sciences
natural
on that.
sciences?
And you're a marine biologist, I believe?
I am.
All right.
Shut that down.
There are many.
It's only a 12.
Amazing.
Not red.
Okay. Again,
With
much.
a 12.
What's with the 12?
It's a total of a 12. With it.
Wow. Yes. Unfortunately, again, the situation seems to be something that you
I'm-
were quite unprepared to address.
I just walk out.
That don't look like a good sign.
Doc, you alright?
No. I'm much better than whoever was in there, though. Can we just go wait in the cargo container?
I mean,
I want
stay,
to go
stay
fish
put.
through the remains for an ID tag or dog tag or whatever there may be.
All right.
I'd like to kind of help them search.
As you guys begin to search about the room there, go ahead. And you guys can both give me a perception on that. Or investigate. Actually, give me an investigation on that.
12.
12?
14.
In the viscera pile, the one where the handprints are, you do find a ID badge, and it is for Jay Carpenter. Apparently, somebody that worked in their biosciences.
Well, maybe we should hang on to this. At least report them when we get back topside.
Is there some kind of experiments going on?
I am unaware of any experimentation aside from studying the local fauna in the area here.
So you all are telling me you have no earthly idea what could have happened here or what's going on?
This is something very much outside of what we were expecting. That do you think that I would want to come down into something like this? I'm just as vulnerable as you are in this particular situation. This is very much outside of my area of expertise. I'm usually used to dealing with corporate backstabbing and not quite being disemboweled. Yes, that's the we're looking at.
What about your hologram lady? She seems to know who you are. Maybe she saw what happened.
Yes, you're right. Annie, give us a status report on the facility here. There's a brief moment, and Annie replies. She's like, "Unfortunately, my systems appear to be primarily offline. The damage suffered and the failure in the command operations center seems to have caused a bit of a severance in my ability to access the rest of the station. If there was a way to restore that through the backup lines, I would be able to have full access and be able to assist you. Again, most of my access to these systems are offline, hence I would assume that the atmosphere is in a inappropriate condition."
Is anybody here capable of fixing something like that?
You see the kid pops the bubble gum and is like, yeah, it's kind of where I come in. Yeah, I'm not really walking over to wherever it is I gotta fix this thing without when
I'll go with
people-
you.
Fantastic. That sounds like a great place to go. Where are we going for all that? And Annie produces a map. You can see it displayed. She's replaced by it on the... And it looks like you were going to have to head over to the engineering section where her backup systems are located and bring those back up online.
Mark that on my map.
Back over to this section right over here, kind of where everybody is standing. And enter the access port there.
I don't like this.
I don't think anyone does.
We might want to find a safe place for the others so we can kind of keep an eye out on everything.
Where do you suppose that'll be? Next to the skeleton down the hall or in this bloodbath in here?
I was really hoping the kid wouldn't have to see any of this, but looks like it's a little too late, but...
The way I see, you got two options. You can either go hide in them ficus trees in the hallway, or you can carry your weapon and we all go try to work together to get this place back online.
I'm good with getting everything situated. I'm just worried about the others.
Hey, Annie.
Yes, sir.
What about the scorch marks out in the hallway? What do you know about those?
I apologize. My systems are offline. I am unable to confirm scorch marks. Location, please.
Cargo bay.
I have nothing in my recorded information that says anything about scorch marks. I will activate a cleanup crew once you facilitate my access to the rest of the station.
Annie, what kind of defensive systems do you have?
Defensive systems? I do apologize. I have no defensive systems. We're not expecting any sort of incursion. I do have automated repair facilities and cleaning agents, but I do not have any weapon systems, if that's what you're speaking of.
I think
And
we're
I-
the defensive system.
And then I go to say to Takahashi, is your AI known to lie?
Or
Does your AI lie?
it's not an AI. It is it's a very much a, and at this point Annie takes over as Takahashi kind of stumbles to explain what Annie is, and she lets you know, I'm a neural network system. I facilitate a guise of actual intelligence. I do not actually possess any base intelligence. I run sophisticated programs that analyze human behavior and respond accordingly.
What did she say? I don't. What?
She's not an AI. She simply runs programs. It's designed to make her a tad bit more acceptable to humans. That she has a bit of a personality. At this point, Annie also chimes in. Yes, technically, I'm not a she either. It just, according to statistical information, humans are 74.8% more responsive to a female persona than a male persona. Hence, it's designed accordingly to make you feel more at ease.
Morty's.
We're not feeling at ease currently.
I do apologize. With my systems restored, I could possibly see about helping you with that. Is it too cold for you, sir?
That's not what I was referring to, but I appreciate it, I think.
Excellent.
But you know what? So if your main focus is on the people, do you remember the last thing from, like, anything? The, like, last contact with an actual person before we showed up?
Last contact?
Yeah.
The last situation report that I have for you is that the Vinnings was dispatched to reply to an emergency situation here on Sevastopol. Unfortunately, it's come to an accident and was destroyed while trying to dock in the Moon Bay. And that was approximately 21 hours ago.
That's when I went offline.
Can you sense other people here other than us?
Unfortunately, I am not connected to the rest of my systems. If you could restore those, I could possibly assist you.
All right, let's go try and restore this.
Representative.
Customer service.
Zero.
Here, let me try saying that louder.
All right, so you know how to use a weapon?
How hard no.
Good answer.
If something comes running at you, you hit him with this.
Indubitably. All right. Okay.
About you, you know how to shoot or
No.
Hey, give me a gun. And the kid with the laptops was very eager at this point to get a gun. And he's like, I'll take a gun.
Somehow
I'm
don't
like
feel
the
good about that.
5-time Call of Duty champion of like the Asian.
Does this look like a video game to you?
all I got's my stuff thrower. But I tell you what,
Okay.
Hey,
Call
whoa,
of Duty?
kid, back up. You leave Smalls alone.
you can hang on to Betty for now.
It's so small.
You say you play Call of Duty.
Yeah. Guess it was a shiv run. That's fantastic. Grabs it, kind of plays around with it a little bit, stabbing the air. Hey, don't move much faster.
And you know how to use a weapon?
Yeah.
What you know how to use the best?
I'm gonna show my wrench, my stun gun, and then I'm gonna take out beans.
All right. All right. I'm gonna pull a hammer and hand it to the doctor.
That's all right. I'll just be with you. Everything's
Put my
fine.
hammer back in the
Just
bag.
take the hammer.
I can stay with the doctor close to him just in case.
Yeah,
We're gonna need you around.
Insurance adjuster at this point is now
Okay.
kind of standing right next to the doctor too. Like, I'm gonna hang out by him as well. You're gonna stay with us, right?
Just stay in the middle, Doc.
Well, so the plan is to get this system back online, and then we'll have a better idea of what exactly we're dealing with. If I'm understanding correctly.
That's
Yeah,
the
we
hope.
hope so.
Okay. Great. Do we all need to be there for that?
You want to be out here alone?
No, I want to.
All right, then off together we go.
How does the risk analyst feel right about now? What's the risk level?
Risque.
His face is completely ghost white, and there seems to be a lot of kind of like little facial tics on him. Again, he's standing next to the Dr. Kane right there, looking
Please don't lean on me.
very much out of his element at this point. And he's like, I'd say the risk sucks here. To quote my grandkids on that, but yes, not really feeling like being here. How fast can we get out of here?
This definitely includes hazard pay.
I hand him a hammer.
Looks at the hammer. He's like, Bev? Fantastic.
If something that ain't one of us comes running at you, hit him with it. Unless you want to be like Mr. Carpenter. Now hold up the badge.
You kept that?
We gotta notify somebody, don't we? It's not a souvenir. It's proof of life. Or
Well-
sorta.
I feel like we could have just wrote that down.
Tuck it in my...
All right. Gives you tuck that into your pocket there. Still
Get-
moist, but you know. And at this point, so who is heading over to the engineering there?
All right, nuts to butts, people. Let's go.
And the kid just starts cracking up. He's like, oh, you think maybe you're not such a douche.
Yeah, let's head over to the engineering.
Team, let's go.
All right, everybody heads over towards the door. Kid walks over to the door. He's like, I guess
Where
I'll
the
pop it, right?
turbine-looking thing is.
He looks at the security panel on it. He's like, I'm assuming that all you gotta do is this, and presses the button that says open, and the door currently swings open.
Still got power. All right.
So let's swing that door open.
For now.
And you can see that there indeed is a very large generator that occupies a good chunk of the room. And just past that appears to be a set of CPUs that are built on the wall, like large servers built on the wall there. We're assuming that this must be a backup for Annie, because that's what she had mentioned before, but it would take going over there to activate it. And the kid looks at you like, all right, and goes...
Yeah, I'll go ahead and enter the room.
Mhm.
Make sure that there's not a bunch of bodies and viscera everywhere.
You don't see any other bodies in the room unless you're going to give me a perception check.
Sure.
Is there
A
death?
12.
12. You don't see any bodies here in the room. Looking about. Again, it's mostly occupied by that generator. You've seen a generator room, I'm taking it before. There's lots of spaces in here if something wanted to tuck itself into. Could possibly be there, but from what you're seeing, you don't see any blood, no gore. Doesn't smell terribly bad in here. It smells very much ozone-y.
Were there
like
any
electrical?
footsteps that led out of the room? Like anything in the blood?
Anything in the
Like
blood
any
in that room?
tracks? Yeah.
You did not go in and search that room, but
Okay.
nothing came out through the door where you were standing.
Okay. So nothing in the hall. All right. Okay.
Nothing on this particular side where most of you seem to be at this
Don't worry
point.
about it. It's in the
I think
heads.
it's yeah.
It's
It's-
fine.
Good place for that. And kid walks over and begins messing around with a startup system of some nature. to get the backups online here. And he's like, yeah, give me a couple minutes, guys. I got this. This is this child's play. And a few moments later, he seems to be quite happy with himself. Hits an execute, and all of a sudden you see there's a flicker in the lights around the station, and they come back up. And you can hear Annie's voice echoing throughout the facility. And she says, thank you. I do appreciate you restoring my systems on that. Miller protocols engaged.
Miller protocols?
And there's not a reply at that moment. But what there is something big and nasty that swings down from the ceiling. And as you're looking over at where the kid is for a brief second, he's there. Whatever it is that grapples him pretty much impales him to the chest. He makes this squeak of surprise and goes up into the ceiling, the rafters, in a cascade of fluids that you can only imagine what that would have been on him. And looking up into the darkness, you currently don't see anything. You can maintain yourself in the room here. It is your turn. You can roll initiative here in a moment if you desire to engage, or you have an action at this point to decide what you're doing.
Roll or die.
I yell back out in the hallway. Move, we got hostiles.
What
And out
do
of-
you mean?
I just like shoving them back while I'm walking backwards with my.
Shove everybody back?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and give me a, let's see, athletics check on that. So you push everybody back out of the room.
16.
16.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to be encountering a whole lot of resistance. Is there anybody resisting the panicking soldier kicking everybody back out of the room?
I don't think so.
Could I assist?
Pulling everyone out of the room.
It doesn't seem like you need to on that. Everybody has kind of backpedal, and the door is still open at this point.
You sure you don't want that hammer?
Yeah, I'm shutting the door. Yeah, I'm pressing the. Yeah.
Close. I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
Two of you press as fast as you
Yeah.
possibly can, and the door swings back closed at this point in time, and you have lost your computer expert.
The kid, what happened to the kid?
The XRM 227 is pointed at the ceiling. What is the ceiling condition look like?
Looking here in the
Tonight,
hallway,
help tonight,
these have obviously been built as creature comforts for the employees here. The walls are padded, and they come up and form a nice arc, so you don't see all the pipes and the electrical working and the vents and things along those lines. They collect the moisture, and it drains back down into the edges of the agroponics here, which is then pushed back up into the plant bays that you see as well. So the grating on the floor is designed to be actually picked up so you can actually work on the piping and stuff that's down there, access to, again, electrical systems and things along those lines. But it would be very difficult for anybody human size to even scurry along in there. It literally is just a gap, maybe about yay big from where the grating and stuff is. It's not really designed for anybody to scamper down into like a sewer system or anything like that. Below it, it's all piping and electrical, and basically the guts of the agroponics station here.
So the ceiling's like a drop ceiling, or it's like some sort of access
It
panels
comes
in places?
up, in an arch.
Okay.
And again, if you would grab the sheeting and detach it, you could probably get up into the superstructure, which is pipes and that sort of thing. Gibbs and anybody with electrical, actually your engineering along those lines, you can see there's not a lot of room that is spared for stuff that would create gaps and things down here. There's just no room for that, because you have to remember, when you're down that deep, every bit that you have to pressurize. So again, it is very, very tight on those spaces. They have given you a large wide hallway here, because again, these people are all going to be cramped down here for a quite extended period of time.
Okay.
Like, where's the kid?
Kid got grabbed by something.
Something.
What do you mean by something?
I don't know. It just cut him right open and pulled him up into the ceiling, and still trained on the ceiling.
It did what?
Gibbs, where's the geolabs at? Which way?
I pull my map back out.
All right, Gibbs. Your geolabs are connected to the biolabs via one entry port here. You have a geolab over here, and you have your biolab over here. This is a shared environment by them.
Okay, so we're between the habitat pod and the engineering pod. Is that correct?
So currently, you all are out here in the hallway, kind of panicking at this moment. Here is the hallway where the kid got. And this is where everybody's kind of currently clustered up out there. Now, this isn't exactly to scale, but gives you kind of a rough idea of where you would be.
And I point down the hallway, clockwise, $2 down, on the left.
All right, I think we need to move.
Can you confirm that the kid's dead?
Yeah, nothing would have, nope, yeah.
Time to go.
But did he get it back online? Did he get Annie back online?
Maybe, I don't know.
I thought I heard its voice.
The lights
echo,
are on.
So it
Yeah.
sounds like it.
If you want to talk to a computer, that's on you. I think we got to get that ADS and get the ship fixed up and get out of here.
Agreed.
All right.
All right, you all begin moving down the hallway towards the shared portion there. When you guys get down to the door, nothing attacks you or tries to get to you. But as you do move along, you do see that the port leading into the desalinization is wide open. And as you get down towards the opening for where the joint entry point would be, that is closed, and there are red lights over the door.
To the
Indicating
geolab?
that it is. Indicating that it is, this one here is currently locked. And that would be the joint where you would need to be.
So the kid just hit the open button, right?
The lights above that door were green.
Just hitting the
And
opening.
hear Annie's voice come up over the line there and let you know that she's like, I do apologize, but you do not possess the proper authorization to enter the labs.
Oh, son of a biscuit. Takahashi, you got this one?
Yes. And he begins reciting a series of codes, and Annie replies back, I do apologize, Mr. Takahashi, but according to the Miller protocols, you are no longer allowed access to any of the facilities.
What is the Miller Protocol?
Miller protocols? They're enacted by Dr. Matthew Christopher Miller. And the series of protocols here are to ensure that there is no biocontamination. I do apologize, but you will not be allowed to leave the facility.
I'm taking out my chainsaw.
Real quick, what are the codes that Takahashi said?
It is a series of Japanese words like cherry, flower, a mountain, things along those lines. Since you speak Japanese, you know exactly what he was saying. But again, it's a series of code words that obviously must have allowed him to trigger the Annie system. And that was a response. If you wish to, I'll give you that you've written them down or you've got them stored. But at this point, he's quite frustrated, and he gives off 2 more series of passcodes, and none of them seem to be doing anything with Annie. She doesn't even respond to the second 2 series there. Takahashi looks at you very frustrated with a kind of desperate look in his eyes. He's like, I am unfamiliar with this particular protocol. Dr. Miller was stationed here, but he did not have access to override the Annie system. I'm not quite sure how this even happened here. I'm not sure what a biocontamination he's referring to in the facility here. It was not designed to be an experimental lab or anything along those lines.
Maybe you don't have the full story. Gibbs, can you open this door like you did the other? Or,
I think Smalls has got the key to this one.
My,
I'm
expedite
just
this
gonna turn
process.
on my chainsaw and
hang on. Can I take the panel off and work the wiring to get the door open?
You could certainly give that a shot.
To save you.
This might be a good idea. We could close it behind us.
What am I rolling?
I do believe that would go underneath your mechanical for that, because
Can I
it's not really a
assist?
hacking. Yeah, I'll definitely let you assist that. So you'd roll with advantage.
23.
23. All right. As you begin to work on the panel to get that open, you definitely bypass the electrical system at this point. Basically, what you have removed is the AI's access to control the panel at this point. And with Gibbs, it looks like you can probably cut the hydraulics and then manually try to crank this door open, possibly. As far as you know at this point, you should have a means of possibly accessing that door.
As Clark is doing this, is there any reaction from Annie?
At this point, there doesn't appear to be any reaction from Annie
Okay.
that you can see, but if you would like to go ahead and give me an investigation roll, I'd like to do so.
Oh, I would love to investigate.
Scrolling on them screens.
Okay. That's gonna be a 26.
26. As all the attention is focused on that there, you hear and the sound of a door opening further down from where you are.
I'm gonna gesture to Michaels and point towards where I heard the door open.
Okay. Go ahead and open the door to the medical bay, which is right over there.
Good, medicine is coming.
And pull out the brain.
The what?
The medicine.
Oh, it's medicine. Oh, okay.
The angelfish that blows bubbles. Yay!
Yeah.
It's so cute and cuddly.
Excuse me, that is how that works. There are many benefits to being a
And-
biologist.
As where you hear that sound of the door opening, and a moment later, there is this heavy pounding on the grating as this thing charges out and into view. As you look over at it, back over there where it just has stepped out,
Okay, cool.
it looks to be an amalgamum of flesh.
Oh.
Like as you look at it, it's hard to tell where certain pieces begin and certain pieces end.
Looking at
But
all
it
the species.
is definitely not. It looks to be formed out of human parts, but it is not like they were sewn together or grafted together. They look like they have been melted and fused together to create whatever monstrosity that is. The eyes are repurposed organs of some of the nature. They look like that might have been, like, is that liver tissue? It's hard to tell, but it does not look like a regular eye. The mouthpiece there that you're looking at, again, looks to be maybe possibly repurposed intestines. And again, the body is just a collection of nasty, terrible flesh. I would like you to give me a wisdom save, please.
Okay, lovely.
And, yeah, you are the closest to it. So yes, you would have to give me a wisdom save. And
15.
15. You are not shaken by it.
Good.
But you realize
I
that
go, That's bad.
it is now initiative.
All right.
Fun.
Gross.
Use insults.
Yeah.
I get advantage.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, we're gonna roll down the line here.
Can I have that? Do we roll this?
You don't roll that for this.
Don't do
Sure.
that.
That should automatically put you
Great.
in last place,
Great. Is it?
which is okay because you seem to be at the far edge of the map anyway.
Some
So,
things
Perfect.
never change.
Something never changed.
Now-
I took
The hand
things
of God
to make
who
my
put me
movement
closest to
easier.
that thing. We're gonna talk after this filming is wrapped.
all right, let's go ahead and start. We have 21 to 25.
21.
21. All right, we've got Gibbs starting us off,
Just get some water.
and we're gonna go 16 to 20.
15.
16.
16. All right. You have Dr. Kane. You have 15, you said?
Yeah.
All right, it's going to be small.
It's got me.
So that's going to be 11 to 15. Anybody else?
11.
That? 11 to 15, you said?
13.
You have a 13?
12.
13. All right. We have Clark. We have a special
Ooh,
action.
wait.
Now I don't like it.
Did you say a special action?
I don't know what I said right there. Then we have small. Then we have
11.
For the show.
we have Blake,
That's meta. No.
and we're gonna move down the line. There we've got
11.
11. Oh, yeah. So it's 12, 11. That would bring us over to Michael's. All right, and then we're gonna have Parker, Takahashi, Rizbowski, and I do believe that would bring us up with Professor Tulio.
Yep.
at the very end on that.
Mhm, with that
round it.
sweet, sweet natural one.
All right, kids. What do you wish to do at this point? You currently have Dr. Kane directly in front of you. You have Smalls off to one side, and you have a giant, nasty, amorphous creature at down the hall from you there.
I'm gonna step around Dr. Kane and get right in front of him.
All right.
Be my guest.
And free object interaction, get into my first aid kit and pull out a bottle of alcohol. With my bonus action, I don't actually have to use my free action to do it. It says I can pull, ready, and throw a grenade. I'm going to use it as an improvised liquid grenade of alcohol.
All right.
And chuck it at it. And then with my action, pull out my Zippo, flick it, and throw it.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an attack roll, please.
For the throwing the alcohol,
Yes, please.
that's a 24.
I would say that probably hits, considering the fact that this is more splash damage. It doesn't have to penetrate the armor, so we don't have to worry about deducting that. Normally, what would happen, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the particular system here, we would compare our armor values to see how that works on that and make an armor saving throw, but in this case, there's no armor saving throw as you are carpeting an area. Let's go ahead and roll damage for your fire, please.
It's a D6.
D6, and then I'd like you to drop an additional D6 on that as well.
So
What's the
5.
first D6? 5
The
points of
first,
damage?
the first is 4 and the second is 1.
Okay, so you do 4 points of damage. So the first is 4, the second is 1.
Mhm.
You do 4 points of damage for 1 round as the fire burns on it. So the first was to see how much damage is done per round. Second one is to see how many rounds that would burn on that. So you splash it and it definitely lights it on fire, to which it seems very unhappy with the fire, as a matter of fact. So the next thing is we're going to move. Anything other actions that you have?
That's all I got.
All right. So
Just standing in front of the doctor.
it is going to charge forward, and it is going to attempt to basically trample Gibbs with a 21.
Is that to hit or an opposed roll?
That is to hit, and so it does strike you. And at that point, it would be a contest of strength, which is going to give it a dirty 20.
Do I use athletics?
You can certainly use athletics.
22.
22. All right. As the creature does slam into you, you're able to check it with your athletics and basically brace yourself on the impact on that. But as you do so, your hands sink into the flesh a bit, and you have this disgusting. Again, the tissue gives as you kind of push against it, and your hands, where the fire is burning at this point, also take additional damage from the fire licking off of this creature, and you take 1 point of fire damage this round.
I am tough as nails and take 0 damage.
Oh, you laugh at the fire like, yeah, bring it. Okay, so with its second action, it is going to try to use those nasty intestine-looking tendrils that are in front of it to grapple you around the waist. And that is going to be a 24.
Oh, no, that doesn't. Yeah, definitely is.
That's its check against you. On that. You'd like to resist being grappled there?
Absolutely. I'm probably going to need a nat 20 to beat that. Yeah, 17.
All right. For this round, the tendrils wrap around your waist, and the mouth opens up. Next round, it will begin doing something different. All right.
Probably it's fine.
Down the line, we have
Giving you a gift.
Dr. Kane is next. The creature in front of you has charged up to Gibbs and has entangled him at the waist.
And I'm unbothered by this amalgamation, apparently, so that's great. I'm going to look at it, turn around, and I'm going to gauge everybody else's reaction because Gibbs decided to face it. I'm going to run. Who wants to come with me?
Lipinski's like,
And I'm going to use one of my plans called coordinated maneuvers. And everybody can now move their movement speed If there are any opportunity attacks that this triggers, they have disadvantage.
All right.
And for the next 10 rounds, everybody can use a dash as a bonus action.
Oh,
Wow.
heck
Nice.
yeah.
That's a lot of
That's
dashing.
amazing.
Yeah.
Me too. I'd run.
All right. So Dr. Kane, go ahead and give him a dash. You're going to do 60 feet?
Yep, I'm gonna use my movement and then.
All right. So this is a rough estimate because it's not exactly the scale. That would put him by that door right there. Klipinski follows you without a second's hesitation. As a matter of fact, he seems to be going by that old adage, you do not have to outrun the monster, just outrun the slowest human.
And this is for anybody else to take.
Great. Can we move now?
Yeah, you move right now. Yeah.
Great. Okay. I also book it. With
You
that.
get your full movement
Yep.
right now.
Run past him.
I guess where I want to
You
get
would
to
put
the
her-
door that they opened.
That's
Oh, is it?
Running back towards
and-
the other creature.
Would you
never
classify
mind,
this as
yeah.
a foot chase?
It's not really chasing after anybody. You all are just kind of fleeing away.
Okay. Well, if it was, then anybody else who could hear me would get advantage on strength athletics checks for the next minute.
Yep, unfortunately, it is not a foot
So
chase.
I'm sorry,
currently.
Gibbs. I tried.
It ran up to Gibbs and seems to be very interested in Gibbs currently. Any other actions that you have this round?
No, that'll be good.
That brings us to Smalls. Actually, no.
does anybody else?
Yeah.
We have everybody's movement first. Let's go ahead and run down Smalls. It's the next one I see in line. Smalls, are you doing anything?
Oh yeah, I'm dashing over
Oh,
towards
so
the thing.
Have her clothes on it.
Nice.
And
And-
that can still happen
You-
during my movement. They can move
That's what I
whatever
mean, yeah.
direction they want.
I want to take everybody's movement now, and then we can continue advancing the initiative there. So looks like our next person standing up there is going to be Blake. Blake, are you doing anything?
No, I'm gonna keep my position.
Okay, keep your position there. Looks like Takahashi's there. Takahashi presses himself up against the door in unadulterated panic, and just basically seems to be trying to make himself a part of the wall. Next, we move down to Michaels.
I'm near the opening of the hallway that Isaac is in, right?
You are
We're working on the panel.
right here, and then Clark Isaacs is right there. Gibbs and Smalls are right up here,
Okay. I thought Isaac
and
was
the
working on the.
panic crew is over here on this side.
Okay. I thought Isaac was working on the panel. Yeah. I'll stay where I'm at. Yeah.
Okay. Parker is going to basically, even though we don't have a mini for Parker, but Parker's going to be on the map there, and Parker is going to drop to a knee and pull out the rifle and get in position to fire. So he's going to be able to shoot basically from a position here towards that direction there. And that would bring us over to Clark. What are you doing?
I want to back up 15 feet.
Okay. There we go. So you're kind of backing up with the panic crew?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's a good place to
I
be.
believe that takes care
Till it's
of
not.
all of our players and NPCs actions currently. We're going to advance down the line to Smalls. Smalls, it is now your turn. You are in hand-to-hand range with the creature.
Great. I'm going to hit this thing with my chainsaw,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to power attack.
Oh,
Heck yeah.
all right. So, Smalls unhooks
And I
Johnny.
definitely missed that. So I'm going to reckless attack and go again.
Oh, get up. So, Smalls unhooks the chainsaw and fires this thing up. Doesn't have to rev or pull. It is an electric chainsaw with some very heavy-duty batteries on it. And it immediately fires up into life with this nasty whirling sound that almost sounds very reminiscent of like a meat cutter with the high-speed buzzing of the saw blades on this thing.
Apropos.
What is your attack?
Does an 11 hit?
Does an 11 hit? Yes.
Oh, great. Okay,
It is.
sweet.
It is very fleshy, so it appears to be very easy to make contact with. And
PH fleshy.
what does your chainsaw do?
Hey, I think you
Cuts
actually
things.
already said both attacks because one of those is a D12, not a D20.
What? That's what my attack is for the chainsaw.
That's the damage. You're
Yeah,
rolling
he said to
recklessly.
use them at the same time.
Okay, I was saying like, if you're recklessly attacking, never mind. It's fine.
Okay. So I believe
It's 25 damage.
25 damage.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Lord in heaven. All right. Your chainsaw flares to life, and you slice into this creature, and it is very much disgusting.
I'm like, here's Johnny.
And Gibbs are coated in chunks of flesh and
Gibbs?
various. So yeah, you and Gibbs. Sorry.
No, Gibbs, like chunks of flesh.
Yeah, it's Gibbs. Yeah, sorry, my bad. So yeah, I thought I said the wrong name. My bad. So you all are both just coated in chunks of flesh and various unidentifiable fluids from this creature as you just hack a massive hunk of meat out of this thing with your chainsaw. I mean, just split into it, and you can see tissue and everything separating on this thing. It doesn't really make much of a sound as you do that. It has still got Gibbs grappled, and it has taken some serious nasty damage
You still have your
as
second
far as that
attack.
goes. Do you have any other actions or attacks this round?
Yes, I do have a second attack. I'm gonna.
Gibbs, it maintains the pass its Constitution check to keep you.
Cool.
I want to like Sparta kick it,
Well, you still have a second attack with your chainsaw,
but I missed the first time.
but you recklessly attacked, so you had advantage.
Okay, cool. We'll do that again then.
So this is just a
Heck
regular
yeah.
base attack, correct? Or
Yeah.
does the reckless attack carry through?
It carries through for the round.
For both? Oh, for the round? Oh, so you get roll with advantage on your second attack as well with the chainsaw.
Okay. That's a 23.
Oh, well, that was a lot better.
Yeah. And the damage is 16.
16. All right. So as you continue to push this chainsaw further into this creature, there is a point where there isn't enough connective tissue to hold it together. And you bisect this thing at not the most delicate of angles, but it is effective nonetheless.
I'm not a delicate person.
Yes, gathered that tremendously. The walls and plants and everything basically around this area, it looks like, have you ever seen one of those paintball grenades go off? It's very much what this area looks like right now. It is just everywhere. I would like the two of you to drop a d20 for me, please.
A what?
A d20?
Okay. Do we add anything?
3.
3? And
5.
5. Okay, thank you.
It's in your mouth.
Nailed it.
And the tendrils that were holding on to Gibbs relax somewhat, and it kind of drags you down to the floor, Gibbs, with the weight of this creature, even though it is split in half.
Can I use a reaction to try and grab him?
Oh, it doesn't fall on top of him. It just kind of just drags him down as it falls. I mean, right now, I would say you're pretty much knee deep in this thing with your chainsaw.
Okay.
In your reckless
gross.
attacking,
Alright.
you are pretty much very focused and screaming your battle charge as you tear through this thing with your chainsaw. And Gibbs, again,
Grab it over
it's not doing any additional damage to you or anything else like that. It just kind of drags you down to a kind of a prone position on your knee as you are able to slough off the tendrils that were wrapped around you there. And like I said, it is you are coated in the viscera, and the stench is amazing here. And you have a giant pile
Ooh.
of whatever this is. And you hear Annie go, very interesting. Information recorded.
Did she plan this thing? Anybody else get that feeling?
What are you all doing?
Are we still in initiative order?
I'm gonna take some of the blood and just like.
I'm looking at you like,
A little bit of war paint.
it's dead!
Hey,
You
nerds,
can come back now!
nerds, get back here.
I wanna run up to Gibbs and do an assessment over him, see if he's okay.
All right. Go ahead and give me a medical, please.
Because I'm covered in Gibbs.
Yeah.
Actually, yep. That is Michael's. There we go. With a nice med pack.
That's a 12.
A 12? Well, as far as you can tell, Gibbs, aside from being absolutely, completely disgusting at this point in time, you're not sure if that's all going to wash out or not. is you laughed off the fire damage. It didn't do any other physical damage to you because it didn't do the trample.
Nope.
It did grapple with you, but that's really about it.
Yeah, saved by the chainsaw.
This is very true.
I laugh, smacking his shoulder. Man, you're built like a brick house.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all he says. He just gotta stand there like just coated in gore, like
Peek around the corner.
yeah.
Also, yeah.
You all should stay a little separated for a multitude of reasons. What was that?
It was some kind of thing.
The thing.
Kind of looks like a brain.
I mean,
It's a meat sack.
Hey, Sparky, get back to work on the door, yeah? And I'll I'll go towards where that creature came out of, and like,
Heading over towards Metal.
yeah, covert turn around the doorway to see if is the door still open. Are there other things coming out of there?
Ooh. We'll have to see here in just a brief moment on that. So hold on, Sparky.
It's Clark.
I love it. I think that should
Clark
stay.
Isaac.
Yes.
Clark, Sparky Isaacs.
Hey, call signs is good luck anyway. It's a better name. You less likely to get eaten by something.
Do you return to the door?
Please call me Clark and not anything else, and I will turn to the door.
Okay, so you return to the door. All right, Michaels, you
Yes.
head over to the medical area there. The door is open, and there are no lights on inside of medical.
Probably fine.
Out freaking standing. Anybody got a light?
Don't you?
I point my head towards the door.
Point your head towards the door.
Ceiling, doorway, ceiling.
What does the sailing look like?
The ceiling, once again, is that padded sort of material that hides all the guts of the building. You can, again, try to peel that back away. You're assuming that's probably a lot of what melted down with the burned body. Inside of the medical area here answers the questions of at least of some of the occupants that are missing. It looks like, go ahead and give me a perception, please.
14.
14. Not being a medical professional and not going actually into the room, but just you and Gibbs examining it from the exterior there are at least half a dozen, maybe more bodies in here in various conditions. It looks like there might have been some autopsies or something going on. It's very hard to tell, but there's a lot of parts of bodies in here that does not look like somebody was doing an autopsy on. Like they've undergone some sort of metamorphosis. Is about the best way to make the description of that.
Is anything moving in the room?
Nothing in the room appears to be moving right now, but judging by the amount of tissue and flesh that's missing from the various bodies in here, as you kind of look back over towards the thing that you saw out there in the hallway, there seems to be about the right amount of biomass.
Gibbs, what do you think this takes us down to as far as survivors? We in the 40s, 30s?
Can I estimate how many corpses I think there are between the ones on the floor
Right.
and those there?
1, 2, 3.
Like medical?
I would say again, that's more perception.
It's counted
It's
one.
more perception or investigation, if you wish. You're
Okay.
kind of just sitting there looking and counting.
16?
16? Yeah, it's much greater than the 6 that he was originally assuming or are in the room there. Now that you're really digging down, trying to figure out how many bodies are in there, it looks to be probably about 10. 12 bodies, maybe?
I'd say we're down to about 40.
At this rate, and like back away from the medical facility. Try to group up with the rest and just stay tight.
Are you seeing any jugs of water in there?
I don't see much of anything.
I'm gonna peer in the door and see if there's like a gallon jug of water or anything like that. Something I could just wash my head off.
Looking into that particular room there is a wash sink that you could go over and access.
I look up at the ceiling. Yeah. I'm good.
While they're doing
Yeah.
this, and I'm peering around the corner, I would like to be watching the monster on the ground and seeing if it's moving at all, if it looks like the pieces are like creeping back towards each other, anything like that.
Big brain thinking right there.
All right.
You said
Yeah.
brain.
Big brain.
Brains.
Fantastic. All right. So as you are watching the creature to see if there's any movement or any action out of the creature itself, nothing appears to be happening at the moment.
Cool.
Cool. Gibbs, Michaels, how's the medical bay looking?
Your kit's fully stocked? Yeah.
Well, I wanted to see what the supplies were looking like in there.
No, you don't.
Is bad. Oh. See this thing in the hallway?
Yeah.
Just as bad.
Okay, but I mean, it could be something else in there that.
We're in a real monkey in a football type of situation right now.
Nobody knows what that means.
Yeah, I got you. It's a comeback later if we need to type of thing.
Nope.
Nope. Oh.
We need to go.
And then I'm gonna take a look at my stock and be like, make sure I have everything that I need.
I need to get out of here.
Do I have the door open?
As a matter of fact, as you are working on it, there seems to be a counteraction that's taken from the other side of the door.
I wanna.
I agree.
Yes.
We should.
Go ahead and give me a
That
mechanical
was some
roll.
real goblin energy there.
I learned it from there's like a story I heard about some guy named Skeech. I don't know.
I learned it from watching you, Dave.
25.
25.
Hmm.
Yep. All right.
How about a nice
As you
game
are
of
fidgeting
tic-tac-toe?
about with that, there is a pop sound, and
Oh no.
you know that the door is now accessible. And this is where we're going to end our episode this evening. So please,
Hey, good. I'm not going first.
you come back and see us next week for the conclusion here as to what is happening at Sevastopol Deep Operations Platform. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you again next
Good job
week.
fighting.
Thank you.